It's CrowSong Lodge again, and I'm doing yet another spread review video. This is number 3 in the series, and so yeah, this is where I'm kind of reviewing spreads that I found on Pinterest from various different sources, so that in the end we can talk about making our own spreads. So it'll be a lot of fun and stuff, and I'm kind of doing like a do it with me kind of thing. It's like a let's play for tarot spreads or something, I don't know. Anyway, so I've got another tarot spread up on my screen here. I kind of look at them on Pinterest while I'm doing them so I don't get lost along the way. And this one is the self-care spread from Sleepy Wizard's Tumblr. So I'll put that graphic up here for you. And you can see that this one seems to be like, it's a self-care spread, but it seems to be focused on solving a problem. The cards aren't numbered, but we have what I need to hear, what to do now, what my problem is, what to do later, and what I should avoid as our 5 cards. So that's what we're going to do. Alright? So I'm going to pause the video and we're going to switch to the table, which is a mess. Okay, so I'm back again, and I was going to use my miniature Rider-Waite for this video, but I dropped a card off the top during my last video, and it's kind of annoying to get to at this point, so we're just going to go ahead and use the Shadowscapes again instead. And so, since this is about solving a problem, I'm just going to think about what solution, I don't know, I'm just going to think about the spread. I'm going to think about the spread while I'm shuffling. There is a card in the center of the spread that defines my problem, so I'm not going to pick one, and my cards are already rebelling at the spread. Guys, stop it. That's what I get for shuffling them without purpose. You just kind of jump out, like, don't shuffle us if you don't know what you're doing. So we're just going to go along with the spread here, because the card in the spread is going to tell me what my problem is. So I don't even have to think of what my specific problem is. It's going to tell me what my problem is, and then we're going to go from there. So, shuffling and shuffling. I love the shuffling part. Alright, there we go. Now, if you're not familiar, this is the Shadowscapes deck again from Stephanie Mui-Punla, and this is my second copy because I love it so much. So, like I said before, the card positions in the spread aren't numbered, but I'm going to kind of do it in an organic way because I want to. So I'm going to work from the center out. So for the first card, and again I'm going to lay all the cards first face down and then we're going to turn them over. So the first card is what my problem is. The second card is what to do now. This third card I'm pulling is what to do later, and then what I need to hear for the fourth card, and what I should avoid for the fifth card. So this is a nice compact spread. I like that it's only 5 cards to begin with, because I mean there's not a whole lot to say about any particular issue before actually digging into it. So that's a nice discrete number of cards. I don't like that they aren't numbered, but that's a very minor complaint. I could number them myself if I wanted. So let's start with that center card. What is my problem that we're going to be addressing today? Alright, so that's the Ace of Wands. So as a problem, I would say that I'm having a problem organizing things into a plan, coming up with a direction, figuring out a strategy, getting things organized. That's where it's starting on thinking about things. So starting a plan is what I would think my self-care problem is that this spread is addressing today. This is, I didn't really look at the spread before I decided to do it. I looked at the title, but I didn't look at the cards specifically. And so I'm already having an issue in this spread where I'm not getting to pick the problem we're addressing, the spread is picking. And so I already don't like that because I feel like I'm not even sure this is the problem I'm going to want to address. But okay, we're just going to go with it. Moving past my personal issues into more of my personal issues, obviously. So we're going to move on to what I need to do right now. And that is the lovers. So clearly I need to spend more time with my honey and rely on him more for help and assistance, and he's wonderful, so that's something I pretty much always need to do because I don't let him help me enough. He's the best, you guys. So that's kind of an awesome card. I can definitely see why that would be something I need to do. What I need to do later, we have the Seven of Cups again. We saw that in the last spread I reviewed. So what I need to do later is keep my eye on what my destination is and worry less about the steps in between and just focus on the ultimate destination. That's really where we're wanting to focus things at. What I need to hear is the Fool, which is kind of like what I do, you guys. I don't, if you know me, then you know I'm like the first one to just like, you know, well, it's now or never, and so off we go. So perhaps the advice here is to not be so quick to jump off the cliff and maybe look before I leap. That would be how I would view the Fool reversed, and this deck does not use reversals, so as an advice card, perhaps I should think about looking before I leap, because my tendency is to just jump. And what I should avoid is the Two of Wands, which is really interesting to have this here and the Seven of Cups there. So the Two of Wands, I should avoid looking too far into the future and planning things out too far in advance. But what I need to do later is to just focus on the destination. So that's confusing. If I was really very concerned about this issue, I would probably draw a clarification card. But I'm pretty confused about what the issue is that we're addressing in the first place. So I'm not all that motivated to do it. And now that I've said that out loud, I'm going to do it anyway just because I'm doing a video on it. So I'm going to ask for clarification on what exactly issue we're talking about in the first place. Okay, so this is the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands is about a conflict. It's not an existential conflict or like an internal conflict, but this is a specific conflict with a person, and it's not friendly. It's quite and obvious. It's not like I could miss this kind of conflict. It's a real conflict and a real fight. I'm not sure. I'm not in the process of having a fight with anyone right now, so I'm not. So now I'm going to ask, who is this person? It's the Nine of Swords. I have no idea where we're going actually, so I'm not really sure what this spread is even about right now, so I'm just going to call it there. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, spin you guys around, and give you my impression of what this spread is. Okay, so that spread was a little bit confusing, but I can definitely see a way to make the spread a little bit better if I wanted to continue using it in the future. And one of those ways is instead of drawing the central card, the My Problem card from the deck, I might choose it ahead of time like a significator. And a significator is a card that you choose ahead of time in the spread to kind of determine a focus for the reading. So I might do that instead. I might choose a card to represent the problem that I want to address and lay that out ahead of time, and then just draw the other 4 cards instead. I think that would give this spread a lot more direction. Other than that, I really like the layout, and I like the cards that were chosen to be represented here. I like the elements that the Sleepy Wizard has chosen to include in the spread. I actually think, as far as spreads go, it's really well designed, except for that center card. So that's really the only major thing I would change. The other thing that I might remove, and this is purely a personal opinion, like all things I say pretty much are, is the what to do later, because I kind of don't give a shit. When I get to later, I'll reassess the situation then, and then it'll be what to do now instead. So I kind of like to, that's me, I like to play things kind of loose and fast. So you might not be that way, you might want to have more of a solid path. So that's the only difference I would make there, is I might, if I did this spread more specifically in the future, if I wanted to continue using it, I would pick a significator for my problem and choose that ahead of time instead of drawing it from the deck like I did this time. So actually, though, I think props to Sleepy Wizard, this was actually a pretty well designed spread. So I hope you guys found that educational. And I will include a link to Sleepy Wizard like I did the other time, so you can go check them out. And if you try out the spread, I would love to hear what you think and what your experience was, and if you made any modifications, or if you tried the significator thing I just mentioned. Let me know, and let me know how that's working for you. And again, if you want to give me a shout out or support me, you can check out my Ko-fi link in the box below, or my Patreon link. And if you would like a reading sometime, you can check out my shop at my own personal website, also linked below. I will be back later. I will talk to you guys then. Bye!